Hello everyone, welcome to the market opening bell for Tuesday, January 27th, your 10-minute guide to the stock market. Hong Kong stocks traded with mild volatility but held steady on Monday. The Hang Seng Index opened 94 points higher, then fluctuated, at one point dropping 129 points to a low of 26,619 before later climbing 161 points to a high of 26,911. It closed the day up 16 points or less than 0.1% at 26,765. The X-share index fell 13 points or 0.15% to 9,147, while the Hang Seng Tech Index dropped 72 points or 1.2% to 5,725. Total market turnover reached 261.6 billion Hong Kong dollars. Mainland funds accounted for $114.5 billion of trading, with net southbound outflows of 830 million, marking 2 consecutive days of net selling. Among the notable flows, mainland investors were net buyers of Tencent holdings at 1.015 billion, Xiaomi at 822 million, Popmart 613 million, Drinda 147 million, and CNOOC 107 million. They were net sellers of China Mobile 1.177 billion, Zijin Mining 1.077 billion, Tracker Fund 1.036 billion, Alibaba 235 million, and China Life 106 million. Data shows southbound funds have bought Xiaomi for 7 straight days totaling $3.896 billion, CNOOC for 4 straight days totaling $1.096 billion, and Popmart for 3 straight days totaling $1.733 billion, while selling China Mobile for 16 consecutive days totaling $12.893 billion. Technically, upside momentum in Hong Kong stocks remains weak, and the market is expected to continue trading in a narrow range between 26,400 and 27,000. On the mainland, the 3 major A-share indexes showed divergence in the morning but weakened in the afternoon. The Shanghai Composite closed down 3 points or 0.09% at 4,132. The Shenzhen Component Index fell 123 points or 0.9% to 14,316, and the Chinex Index dropped 30 points or 0.9% to 3,319. Total turnover on the Shanghai and Shenzhen markets reached 3.25 trillion yuan. The renminbi midpoint rate against the US dollar was raised 86 pips to 6.9843. At Tencent's annual meeting yesterday, Chairman Pony Ma spoke about the upcoming Lunar New Year campaign for the AI app Yuanbao, which will distribute 1 billion yuan in cash red envelopes, saying he hopes to recreate the sensation of the original WeChat red envelope phenomenon. He also mentioned plans to turn Yuanbao into a social product called Yuanbao Pai. According to internal sources, Yuanbao Pai is a new social scenario where users can create or join pies groups and enjoy new social features such as Ask Yuanbao, screen sharing, watching movies together, and listening to music together, all of which will roll out gradually in the near future. Ma said 2025 will be a big year for AI, with fierce competition not only in AI but also in community group buying and food delivery. Tencent is taking a steady approach, investing heavily only in AI, while its cloud business has become profitable and its gaming business remains terrifyingly strong. WeChat continues to be the company's cornerstone, and businesses like video accounts and WeChat e-commerce have their own growth trajectories. Combining new technologies with Tencent's unique strengths will require time and patience. Move only after careful planning. On advertising and financial payments, Ma believes that with AI's boost, Tencent's ad revenue is growing quickly, but its share of total revenue remains below the industry average. leaving substantial room for future commercialization. The Hunyuan team underwent structural changes last year to attract talent, including PhDs, and will continue recruiting native AI talent to rebuild the team. Alibaba officially released its flagship reasoning model, Quantry Max Thinking, under the Tongyi Tianwen suite, setting new global records across several authoritative benchmarks and achieving performance comparable to GPT 5.2 and Gemini 3 Pro, making it the strongest domestic large model to date and the closest yet to international leaders. The new model has over a trillion parameters, underwent larger-scale reinforcement learning, and incorporated a series of reasoning innovations, resulting in a major leap in capability. Quantry Max Thinking also significantly improves native agent tool calling ability, allowing the model to think and use tools like a professional, delivering answers that better match user intent, more intelligent and natural. Hallucinations have been greatly reduced, laying a solid foundation for solving real-world complex tasks. Baidu has established a new personal superintelligence business group by merging its Wenku and NetDisk units with Wang Ying, appointed as head reporting directly to the CEO. The move aims to strengthen overall collaborative innovation in AI applications. Baidu Wenku currently holds over 1.8 billion authoritative documents and has more than 97 million monthly active AI users. Baidu NetDisk serves over 1 billion users with more than 80 million monthly active AI users. Spot gold and silver continue to hit new highs in Asian trading, with gold briefly breaking $5,100 per ounce to reach $5,111, and silver surging over 6% to $109.46 as emerging market central banks continue diversifying reserves into gold. Monthly purchases are expected to reach around 60 tons. The Polish central bank recently stated that it aims to increase gold reserves to 700 tons from 550 tons at the end of last year. The People's Bank of China has added gold for 14 consecutive months. According to the World Gold Council, gold ETF inflows last year totaled $89 billion, equivalent to 801 tons, the highest since 2020. Demand for gold bars and coins in Europe was also strong, though some investors are taking profits. Zijin Mining announced that its controlled subsidiary, Zijin Gold International, plans to acquire all issued shares of Allied Gold Corporation, listed on both Toronto and New York exchanges, at 44 Canadian dollars per share, for a total consideration of approximately 5.5 billion Canadian dollar, equivalent to around 28 billion yuan. Allied Gold's core assets include the producing Sadiola mine in Mali, the Côte d'Ivoire complex, and the Kurmuk mine in Ethiopia, scheduled for production in the second half of 2026. As of end 2024, Allied Gold held 533 tons of gold resources at an average grade of 1.48 gram per ton. It produced 10.7 tons in 2023 and 11.1 tons in 2024, with 2025 guidance of 11.7 to 12.4 tons. With the Sadiola expansion and Kurmuk coming online, annual production is expected to reach 25 tons by 2029. Laopu Gold opened 5.3% higher and at one point surged nearly 14% to $898. Reports indicate that from January 24th to February 14th, high-end mainland department store chain SKP launched its Lunar New Year event, and the Laopu Gold phenomenon returned even stronger than last year. The night before the official start, dozens of people began queuing overnight on January 23rd. By 10 a.m. on January 24th, when Beijing SKP opened, queue tickets were already stopped nearly an hour earlier than last year. Nearly 500 customers filled the queue to capacity, with the last person entering around 10 p.m. Crowds waited outside Laopu Gold all day, and similar scenes played out in Xi'an, Wuhan, Chengdu, and other cities. Pomart partnered with Honor to launch the Honor 500 Pro Molly 20th Anniversary Limited Edition trendy phone. Molly's image is integrated not only into accessories like the case, but also deeply into the phone's system, exclusive themes, desktop charging effects, boot animation, and ringtones. The limited edition is sold as a gift box with exclusive peripherals, boosting collectible value. The collaboration triggered buying frenzy. It sold out on the first day, and second-hand platforms are now seeing purchase requests. Oil stocks performed well, with Sinopec, PetroChina, and CNOOC rising 2.9% to 4%. OPEC Plus representatives said the group is expected to stick to its plan to keep output steady next month at Sunday's meeting amid global oversupply and geopolitical risks. Investors are positioning ahead of a busy week of major tech earnings and the upcoming Fed interest rate decision. U.S. stocks rose, with the S&P 500 and Nasdaq posting their fourth straight gain, the longest streak since December. The fixed fear gauge edged up 0.06 point or 0.4% to 16.15. The Dow rose 342 points or 0.7% to 49,441. The S&P 500 gained 43 points or 0.6% to 6,959, and the Nasdaq added 100 points or 0.4% to 23,601. The Nasdaq Golden Dragon China Index, tracking U.S.-listed Chinese stocks, fell 49 points or 0.6% to 7,828. Among the Magnificent Seven, performance was mixed. Apple rose nearly 3% after unveiling an upgraded AirTag with 50% greater tracking range, louder speaker, and other improvements, priced at $29. Meta climbed about 2%. NVIDIA launches Earth 2 Generative AI Foundation Model, a groundbreaking tool designed to revolutionize climate modeling, prediction, and response, though its shares dipped 0.6% along with most chip stocks. Intel fell another 5% amid uncertain outlook. Tesla dropped 3% after veteran fund manager George Noble warned the EV giant represents a massive stock market bubble. Bank stocks did well, with JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley all up over 1%. Mining stocks performed strongly, including Newmont. U.S. rare earth miner USA Rare Earth surged on reports that the U.S. government plans a $1.6 billion debt and equity investment for a 10% stake. Microsoft rose about 1% after introducing its new Maya 200 AI chip, which it claims delivers 30% better performance than comparable alternatives at the same price point. Produced by TSMC, the chip aims to boost Microsoft services while reducing reliance on NVIDIA GPUs. Shipments have begun to its Iowa data centers, with Phoenix next. Our stock pick today is Chow Tai Fook, stock code 1929. Chow Tai Fook recently released its operating data for the third quarter of fiscal year 2026 from October to December 2025, with performance exceeding market expectations and demonstrating strong recovery momentum. Overall retail sales value grew 17.8% year-on-year, with mainland China up 16.9% and Hong Kong, Macau, and other markets up 22.9%. On same-store sales, directly operated stores in mainland China achieved 21.4% growth in the quarter, while franchise stores recorded an even higher 26.3%. Same-store sales in Hong Kong and Macau rose 14.3% year-on-year, with Hong Kong up 10.1% and Macau up 31.3%. The group optimized its product mix, maintaining strong average selling prices (ASPs) for fixed price jewelry. In mainland China, the ASP for fixed price gold jewelry, including gold products and gem set gold products, rose to 9,500 Hong Kong dollars versus $5,200 in Q3 financial year 2025, while the ASP for gem set jewelry increased to $8,900 from $8,000. The contribution from fixed price jewelry in mainland China rose significantly from 29.4% a year ago to 40.1%, supporting margin improvement. In Hong Kong and Macau, the ASP for fixed price gold jewelry climbed to $8,300 from $4,700, while gem set jewelry was $17,500, slightly lower below the $18,700 ASP a year ago. Same-store ASPs for weight-based gold jewelry also remained robust, rising to 11,000 Hong Kong dollars in mainland China and 20,100 in Hong Kong and Macau versus 7,300 and 13,300 dollars respectively in Q3 financial year 2025. During the quarter, the group opened 34 Chow Tai Fook jewelry retail points in mainland China, but closed 264, resulting in a net closure of 230 points, mainly underperforming stores. Despite this, overall retail performance accelerated, validating the closed stores to stem losses, improve quality and efficiency strategy. In Hong Kong and Macau, the group added 3 retail points. Management noted that new stores will be launched as planned before June this year to enter international markets, focusing on prime high-rent locations. On the back of the strong Q3 results, management upgraded 2026 financial year guidance. Full-year revenue is now expected to deliver mid to low single-digit year-on-year growth, benefiting from high gold prices and a greater proportion of fixed price products. Gross margin is forecast to improve to 31.5% and 32.5%, with operating margin targeting close to 20%. Recommended entry at 14.1 Hong Kong dollars. Initial target $15. Stretch target $15.9. Stop loss $13.4. I do not hold this stock.